Grove Manor is now haunted.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Humdrum Mystery Hour. This is your host, Joe Humdrum, here today with a holiday episode entitled The Mystery of Oak Grove Manor. The mystery began with a call from my old friend Annabelle Jenkins, housekeeper at the manor.
I need your help. I was given a tour yesterday to the new family, and one of the daughters was just complaining. We're in the laundry room, and she was just wondering, why everything was set up the way it was. Mr. Coleman's favorite way, with all the laundry just piled on the floor, because we had nowhere to place the baskets, and with the cupboard empty, so we could see all the way to the back of it. So she was just complaining, and last night I began hearing all kinds of moaning and groaning and strange unearthly sounds, and I believe that Mr. Coleman is haunting his house. Please come here as soon as you can.
In the morning, Annabelle noticed things were out of place. At first, I wasn't concerned, but then Annabelle sent me photos while the new tenants unpacked. It certainly was suspicious. I immediately set out for Oak Grove Manor to stake the place out. Here is some footage I took that first day. One of the daughters was engaged in repetitive activity. Knowing this to be an early sign of hauntings and witches, I decided to spend several hours observing her movements while hidden behind a large garbage bin. I suspected she may be in league with the ghosts, when she said,
Not right now. Not unless my family gets back and we can be like, hey, what do you think of this? You can take it into the laundry room and show them size and such.
I became convinced of it when she summoned a spirit.
Handcrafted by Helita, brushmaker, Portland, Oregon, USA.
And followed it with a strange incantation.
Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Breakfast burrito. Yum, yum, breakfast.
I left my camera running while I made my rounds of the gardens looking for ghosts. Nothing very interesting happened.
You will recognize this. What's that? Yes, no. This is Perry Grip von Bingen.
A woman centuries ahead of her time.
Yeah?
That evening, I was surprised to see a new member of the household. Was this a transfigured human? Or something that Ghost Mr. Coleman was devising to torture the new tenants? Worried that I was in over my head, I sent an urgent message to my partner, codenamed Blue Jay Stormweather. She sent me the following missive by carrier pigeon.
Sir, your question has surprised me, as I too have been thinking about life, death, and being apart. I have concluded that the following verses by Robert Burns speak to our situation most plainly. Oh, my love's like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. As fair thou art, my bonny lass, though I say lad, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. Till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. And fare thee well, my only love, and fare thee well a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 mile. Shall I come, my rose? Blue Jay storm weather.
I decided to continue the case on my own. My partner, codenamed Blue Jay Stormweather, was supposed to be enjoying the holidays in Edinburgh with her mother. Besides, I've never been able to understand poetry.
Mr. Humdrum. Good morning, Mr. Humdrum. I just needed to talk to you. Things were happening last night. Yes, I was laying in bed. I was so scared. I started hearing the sound. It was like scraping and scratching and thumping like a large heartbeat. And I just wanted to hide under the covers and just remain there the rest of the night. But I realized, sir, that I need to investigate. I take my duty very seriously as housekeeper here. Well, yes, sir. So I left and I went down to the laundry room, and I hid in this large hamper, and I peeked out from between those sheets, and I saw, sir, that there was this creature, not unlike that photo you sent me, and it was there. It was up against the wall. And then I heard that witch of a daughter, she was there too, sir, and she was saying incantations, and her hair was on fire, and there were frogs hopping around, and she was making that creature grow. She was putting arms on it, sir. Yes, arms, like many arms, like more than 5, more than 100. There were millions of arms. And I didn't know what to do, and I just was holding my breath, and I stuffed the washcloth down my throat so I wouldn't scream. Then I heard, sir, a man's voice. No, there was no one with a woman. There was no one there. She was by herself completely, with like a crystal ball. But I heard a man's voice, and I do swear that it was my dear employer, Mr. Coleman's voice. He said, "We'll have this place right in no time." And the witch daughter laughed in reply. I know she's a witch, sir. And by that point, I just fell into a dead swoon. Or maybe she cast a spell on me and I just couldn't move. Mr. Humdrum, you're our only hope. Poached eggs? Yeah. They'll be ready soon. Alright. See you at the table. Bye.
At breakfast, I learned that the family, and most importantly the witch of a daughter, would be out for much of the day. Knowing this would give me ample time to investigate, I carelessly mentioned that I meant to play 2 rounds of golf. I went to my room and stomped about considerably for a time, before sitting in silence so everyone would believe I had left for the course. Taking my camera and ghost detector, I slipped out of my room and up the attic stairs. I found nothing of consequence for several hours. On my 3rd circuit, I noticed strange sounds emanating from the summer room. Crawling on my hands and knees to that corner of the house, I found a loose light fixture and put the lens of my camera into the room below. Surprisingly, I saw the witch of a daughter sitting at a table poring over some manuscript. I had left my reading glasses in my room so they wouldn't get crushed, and it was impossible for me to see what the girl was up to. However, the sounds were distinguishable, and indicative of a sewing and telegraph combination machine. If that's not witchcraft, I don't know what is. Since the dust in the attic was beginning to affect my allergies, I left the camera rolling. With the ghost detector beside it, retreated to my room to make use of the tissues, neti pot, and pills I had in my luggage. Once there, I noticed that one of the maids had left a telegram for me on the side table. It read, "Mr. Joe Humdrum, stop. I need to talk to you. Stop. I'm haunted by Mr. Coleman. Stop. Meet me at the clubhouse, ASAP. Stop. From the youngest member." Sensing the urgency, I immediately set out for the golf course, glad that my being seen there would give credit to my earlier ruse. Once in the clubhouse, I began looking for the youngest member. At the bar, a gangly youth was sitting with a box of apple juice. His acne-scarred face was twisted into such contortions of fear, I assumed he must be the one who had sent the telegram. I went over and asked him. The chap turned quite white at my question, looking almost as if he was a ghost himself. I was so startled that I began to cross myself and wish I had brought my ghost detector along. Thankfully, the kid nodded and pulled a sheet of paper from his pocket. It was another telegram, bore the marks of having been folded and unfolded many times. It was also covered with greasy fingerprints and had a wad of gum stuck to the upper left corner. The young man handed it to me, and I read,
Youngest member, stop! You are a numbskull! Stop! I know you took my third favorite putter. Stop! I am coming to claim it and use it to teach you to better respect your elders. Stop, Mr. Coleman.
The young man was beside himself.
Oh, Mr. Humdrum, I received this telegram from Mr. Coleman the day he died. I am certain he is haunting me. I didn't mean to take his putter. It happened by accident somehow during a rainy match. I couldn't return it because Mr. Coleman was already dead, and his descendants had sold his clubs once I realized the mix-up. What am I to do?
Where's the putter now? I asked him. The youngest member shuddered and pointed to a club left in the umbrella stand. Taking the youth by the arm, I brought him and the putter out to the putting green. For several hours, I watched him swing the club. But ghost Mr. Coleman never appeared. The boy's golfing form never improved. Eventually, I let him go home by way of the ice cream shop. He thanked me with tears in his eyes and ran off. I began a much slower, meditative track back to Oak Grove Manor. The next day was Christmas Eve. The family was all at home and various guests were hanging about the place. I joined the group around the fireplace and noticed that the witch of a daughter was not present. After making the expected toast and singing an anticipated carol for the group, I slipped away to hunt for the girl. After several minutes, I found her, not because of anything she was doing, but because of the extraordinary sounds coming from the person accompanying her. I quickly surmised that the girl had recruited an accomplice or reanimated a lost soul. The accent of the fellow proved him to be acting the part of a foreign musician. Pulling the ghost detector out of my pocket, I hid behind a stack of Yule logs to watch the nefarious schemes of the couple. I could not understand a word they were saying to each other, but I was startled to see the rose emblem appear again as I was watching their work.
11 inches.
11 inches and 38 inches.
38 inches.
All right.
Wheels.
What? Oh, the wheels?
Wheels.
Wheels. We have wheels. All right.
Even though I had not replied to her original pigeon, my partner, codenamed Blue Jay Stormweather, had sent me another poem by carrier that very day.
Lo, how a rose ere blooming from tender stem has sprung. This flower whose fragrance tender with sweetness fills the air, dispels with glorious splendor the darkness everywhere. Merry Christmas, sir. Roses have been on me mind a lot recently, so I wrote you a poem of my own. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love pizza, and I love... Can you guess, my rose? Blue Jay Stormweather.
I hadn't worked out a solution to Stormweather's riddle when my reverie was interrupted by another one. The girl and the foreign musician were throwing code words about quick and fast.
Hold it.
I wrote them down in shorthand on my sleeve to decipher later.
E. For me.
E is for Elizabeth.
E is for elegant.
E is for elephant.
E is for endeavor. E is for epiphany. Entice. Entreat. Enigma. Epithet. Eggplant. Epistle.
Eggplant epistle.
An eggplant epistle.
It is an epistle about eggplant.
By now, it was far past midnight. The foreign musician launched into an unusual concerto. The witch of a daughter must have sensed my presence, and she began trying to lull me to sleep with a series of remarkable yawns. I resisted her arts for a while, but was eventually overcome and took a nap behind the Yule logs. Unfortunately, my camera storage filled, and I didn't see what the notorious couple did next.
Mr. Humdrum, Merry Christmas. This is Annabelle Jenkins. I was calling to let you know that I'm not going to be here today. I always spend Christmas with my second cousin's family. And anyway, I thought there was some news that I needed to let you know. Last night, I was setting out the morning breakfast china, and I heard that girl, you know that girl I've been telling you about? And I heard her walking down the hallway, and she says, I cannot wait till breakfast when everything gets revealed. And then she replied to herself, yes, imagine your mother's face. Girl must be crazy, always talking to herself like that. But I thought you should know and make sure you are at breakfast in the morning. The family's going to be dining at 9. I set out your favorite coffee cup, and it has 7 lumps of sugar, so you should be good. If you need me, I'm going to be at my second cousin's house, and I got to run because we have our annual fruitcake eating competition. I don't want to miss it, so I'll serve him. Bye.
By the time I got to the breakfast table, the family was already there and seated, so I was not able to set up my camera and record what happened. However, I used a small pencil to take notes on my shirt cuff and dictate what was said. Gifts were passed around, crackers were exploded, prayers were said, and then the daughter, who I had been observing this whole time, stood up. To her mother, she said, Mom, thank you so much for inviting my husband and I here to your new home at Oak Grove Manor. We have enjoyed our stay immensely. As a blessing to you, we have redone your laundry room, working through the nights in secret. We hope it will remind you of us when we are not here, and also of what a wonderful Proverbs 31 woman you are. I realized I had never toured the laundry room during my examinations of the house. I also had never asked the daughter what she was up to. And somehow I had not determined the relationship between the daughter and the foreign musician. However, I'm not upset with these oversights on my part. I never understood women, and I wasn't keen to talk with one who was likely a witch. My ghost detector was still reading negative, as it had been my whole stay, so I decided Mr. Coleman had moved on to greener pastures. I left a note for Annabelle detailing the conclusions of the case, then went to my room to collect my luggage. Before I quit Oak Grove Manor, I released my partner's, codenamed Blue Jay Stormweather's carrier pigeon. I had finally found the answer to her riddle. Salad. This has been Joe Humdrum. I hope you will join us again for another Humdrum mystery.